There are cars that exist as machines, and then there are cars that transcend their mechanical nature to become symbols of an era. The 1962 Galaxie 500XL Convertible is one such machine, born at the height of America's post-war boom, a time when automotive design was equal parts performance, comfort, and style. This particular example tells a story far larger than its VIN plate. Built in Mahwah, New Jersey, and kept within the state for its entire life, the car you see today is more than just steel and chrome. It is a rolling capsule of the early 1960s. This specific Galaxie has remained indoors, spared from rust and weather, preserving its authenticity as an unadulterated original. Unlike so many survivors that bear scars of careless restorations or heavy modifications, this convertible remains straight, complete, and largely untouched. Its quirks, such as a weak reverse gear and non-functional clock and fuel gauge, only deepen the authenticity of its character. With its original owner's manual and 1962 sales paperwork still in hand, it provides a direct link to the moment it first rolled out of the dealership. To truly understand why this Galaxie is so special, we must travel back in time, to the streets, showrooms, and highways of 1962. America in 1962. The backdrop for a classic. The early 1960s was a fascinating period for the American automobile industry. The post-war boom had matured, and cars were no longer just utilitarian objects. They were status symbols, cultural statements, and emotional investments. Suburbs were expanding, highways were growing, and the American family car had become an essential part of daily life. In 1962, John F. Kennedy was president. The space race was capturing imaginations, and American optimism was at its peak. It was a period of bold design choices, chrome-heavy exteriors, and engines that promised effortless cruising power. The Ford Motor Company, always attuned to the pulse of the market, introduced cars that reflected this era of aspiration and progress. The Galaxie line was Ford's flagship full-size offering, positioned above the Fairlane and Falcon, carrying both prestige and performance. In particular, the Galaxie 500XL was the top-of-the-line trim, meant to compete with Chevrolet's Impala Super Sport and Pontiac's Bonneville. The XL stood for extra luxury, and it was more than just marketing. It was Ford's declaration that the full-size convertible could be both powerful and refined. The Galaxie 500XL Convertible, designed for prestige. When Ford introduced the Galaxie 500XL in 1962, it was designed to stand apart. The convertible variant, like the one before us, was the epitome of aspirational luxury. Long, sleek lines defined the body, with subtle tail fins that nodded to the extravagance of the 1950s, but with a cleaner, more modern execution. Chrome trim, full-length side moldings, and an elegant grille gave the car a sense of authority. Inside, the Galaxie 500XL featured bucket seats, a center console, and upscale trim, details that made it distinct from the standard Galaxie models. It was a car for those who wanted more than basic transportation. It was for the driver who desired a blend of style, presence, and comfort. For Ford, the 500XL represented a step forward in aligning luxury with performance. Buyers could choose from a wide range of engines, from the reliable 223 cubic inch inline-six to the fire-breathing 406 V8. The car you see here, however, is powered by the 352 cubic inch 5.8L V8, identified by the X in its VIN. Fitted with a two-barrel carburetor, this engine was designed to balance power with reliability, offering a smooth driving experience perfect for both city cruising and long highway runs. Reading the VIN, a story in numbers. Every classic car carries a unique fingerprint in the form of its vehicle identification number, VIN. This Galaxie's VIN, 2E69X246260, tells us far more than just digits on a plate. Point 2. The first digit denotes the model year. In this case, 1962.E. This letter indicates the assembly plant. E corresponds to Mahwah, New Jersey, a plant that produced countless Fords for the East Coast market. Point 69. This body code confirms the car's identity as a Galaxie 500XL two-door convertible. X. Perhaps the most intriguing digit, this engine code signifies the 352 cubic inch V8 with a two-barrel carburetor. It wasn't the most powerful engine Ford offered, but it was a workhorse, known for its smooth delivery and durability. 246260. Finally, the sequential production number places this convertible in the broader context of Ford's assembly line for 1962, giving us a sense of where it stood in the year's production. To the untrained eye, a VIN may appear as a jumble of numbers. To the enthusiast, however, it is a roadmap of heritage, proof that the car is what it claims to be, free of the doubt that often surrounds classics. The mechanical heart, strengths, and quirks. At the center of this Galaxie lies the 352 cubic inch V8, a power plant that was very much the backbone of Ford's full-size lineup in the early 1960s. Smooth, torquey, and reliable, it was not designed to break records at the drag strip, but rather to deliver effortless cruising power. With a 2-barrel carburetor, it made around 220 horsepower, more than enough to propel the heavy convertible down highways with ease. This car's mechanical story, however, includes a unique detail: its reverse gear. At some point in its life, the reverse failed, taking the car off the road. Today, the reverse works only weakly. While this might concern some, it is a common and correctable issue, well understood by mechanics who specialize in early 1960s Ford transmissions. In fact, its very presence adds a kind of honesty to the car's narrative. Rather than a heavily restored machine with every flaw sanded away, this Galaxie wears its mechanical quirks openly. A survivor with character starts and drives? Yes, this car does exactly that. It remains roadworthy. Exterior condition: straight, complete, rust-free. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of this Galaxie is its condition. Too often, convertibles of this era suffer from rust, collision repairs, or incomplete restoration attempts. This example, however, is described as straight, complete, and rust-free. That is no small claim for a 63-year-old convertible that has spent its life in New Jersey. Indoor storage has preserved its integrity. Panels remain aligned, trim intact, and the car has not been subjected to the kind of invasive modifications that rob so many classics of their authenticity. To stand before it is to see a car that remains much as it did when Kennedy was still president and when highways were freshly paved ribbons of freedom. Inside the cabin, a time capsule. Step into the interior and you are transported back to 1962. The Galaxie 500XL Convertible offered bucket seats and a console, luxury appointments at the time, and this example remains true to its roots. Not everything functions perfectly. The clock and fuel gauge are non-functional, silent witnesses to decades of service. Yet everything else works, a testament to both Ford's engineering and the care this car has received over the years. Unlike a fully restored example that may shine brighter than new, this car retains the quiet dignity of age. Its wear is not neglect. It is evidence of a life lived, of decades of existence as a beloved automobile. Ownership and provenance point. One of the most extraordinary aspects of this Galaxie is its provenance. Not only has it lived its entire life in New Jersey, but it comes with the original owner's manual and 1962 sales paperwork. These documents are more than pieces of paper. They are proof of lineage, evidence that this car has always been cherished. Collectors place immense value on such provenance. Documentation transforms a classic car from a nice example to a verified survivor. It grounds the machine in history, connecting today's enthusiast directly with the original buyer who walked into a Ford dealership more than 6 decades ago, fell in love with the idea of a convertible, and signed the paperwork that brought this Galaxie home. Driving experience. Then and now. To drive a 1962 Galaxie 500XL Convertible is to enter a different era of motoring. Unlike modern cars, which insulate drivers from the road with technology, this Galaxie delivers a direct and analog experience. Turn the key, and the 352 V8 rumbles to life with a deep, mellow note. The power steering eases the heavy car into motion, while the suspension, soft and forgiving, floats over imperfections in the road. It is not a car for sharp corners or high-speed chicanes. Instead, it was designed for long, straight American highways, where the convertible top could be lowered, the wind could rush through your hair, and the miles could disappear beneath the wheels. Even with its weak reverse, the car remains drivable, reminding us of the engineering philosophy of its era: durability and simplicity. The Galaxie was built not to be a fragile exotic, but to be a dependable full-size car that could handle daily use. Driving one today is not about speed or precision. It is about reconnecting with a slower, more deliberate way of life when cars were about presence as much as performance. The collector's perspective. Why does a 1962 Galaxie 500XL convertible matter to collectors today? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, originality, and cultural significance. While Ford produced thousands of Galaxies in 1962, the survival rate of unrestored, rust-free convertibles with original paperwork is astonishingly low. Most have been restored, repainted, modified, or lost entirely. Survivors like this are increasingly rare. Collectors also prize originality. While a Concours-level restoration can make a car shine, it erases the small imperfections and authenticity that make survivors so compelling. This Galaxie tells its story honestly. From the weak reverse to the silent clock, every quirk is a testament to its journey. Then there is cultural significance. The early 1960s marked a turning point in American car culture. Just before the muscle car era exploded with the Pontiac GTO, Ford Mustang, and Chevrolet Chevelle. The Galaxie 500XL represents the bridge between the chrome-heavy cruisers of the 1950s and the performance-focused cars of the later 1960s. Owning one is like holding a piece of that transition. Emotional and cultural significance. Beyond numbers and specifications, cars like this Galaxie connect with us emotionally. They remind us of a time when the American dream was symbolized by a driveway with a new car parked proudly in it. A convertible, especially, represented freedom. It was the promise of summer nights, road trips, and open skies. This particular Galaxie, with its paperwork intact and body preserved, is more than just metal. It is a witness to decades of change, from the optimism of the 1960s to the challenges and triumphs of every decade since. It reminds us that machines can be more than tools. They can be companions, storytellers, and even time machines. Conclusion. A survivor's legacy. The 1962 Galaxie 500XL convertible before us is more than a car. It is a survivor, a storyteller, and a symbol. Built in Mahwah, New Jersey, and kept indoors ever since, it stands today as a testament to both Ford's craftsmanship and the care of its owners. Yes, the reverse gear is weak. Yes, the clock and fuel gauge have gone silent. But those imperfections are not flaws to hide. They are part of the car's soul. Everything else works, the body is rust-free, the documentation is intact, and the spirit of 1962 lives on in its steel and chrome. For the next owner, this Galaxie is an invitation. An invitation to preserve history, to enjoy the simple yet profound pleasure of analog motoring, and to carry forward the legacy of one of Ford's most elegant full-size convertibles. In an era when so many classics are restored into sterile perfection, this survivor stands apart. It is real, it is honest, and it is extraordinary.